Number 7, no kids. And I know, again, just like the first one, this will be a very contested point. But again, being honest, I think most people in an honest minute would say that they would want to have kids. And a telltale sign for me in many cases is when people who are in this age group and they don't have kids, but they have this sort of teacher or master teacher disposition where they want to learn, they want to bestow their knowledge upon other people. You know, like your typical YouTuber, well, probably similar to what I'm doing now. I think it's natural for people to want to have to want to install their culture or habits into the next generation. And I think where people in this age bracket start to lose motivation for life, or start to not see the bigger picture, or they just lose their purpose, or I'm pretty sure if you had kids, you would rarely be in that state, because automatically you know your purpose here is to ensure these kids do well. So even if you're someone who's not very ambitious, for example, you can see that you need to do well for these kids. If you care about your kid or your kids, that would be an automatic response. I think for many people in this age group, they fall into depression when they don't have kids. And it's not all our fault. Again, this could be an economic thing. You're trying to do the right thing as well. Why would you bring in kids if you're not set up or stable yourself, for example, which is right, the right way to think about it. But again, you got this group of people who will just be very staunch in suggesting that they don't want kids. What's even worse than that, I don't mind if people don't want kids. That's very good that you can confirm that you just don't want kids. That's fine. But I think there is something wrong when people start to try to influence other people to not have kids. That's where it becomes something quite nefarious. You know, people challenging other people, like, why would you want to bring kids into this world? Why would you want to have kids? We don't need to have kids. There are too many people. I think that's when it becomes a bit of a coping mechanism where people lie to themselves and they're trying to influence other people to follow their path. But I think just as we who are listening to this video, we all exist because we came from people who had kids. I think it's natural for people who are alive to want to have kids and to install their knowledge, pass on their knowledge, give a sort of inheritance to their next of kin. And I think in this age group, when you don't have kids, and I think even if you think you don't want kids, you start to feel a certain way, you start to question. A big rebuttal to this is that, oh, we all die alone. You know, our kids are not inclined to help us when we reach old age. But I think a lot of people on the side of their mind think about the vulnerabilities of being old. If you're age 35 or 40, in about 10, 15 years, you're probably going to be quite vulnerable in terms of aches and pains in your body, your level of energy, right? So without a family at that point, you know, your parents are most likely going to be passed on. You're going to be quite lonely. And I think it's smart to think about that scenario and how you would manage. You know, maybe you have money where you can get you a nurse or you know, something like that where you can be easily supported. But I think traditionally human beings shielded themselves from that by having a family, and I think that is just a naturally organic way of doing things, right? And it definitely affects our mental health. Seeing my son in my image with some of my personalities, doing things, learning new skills, walking, talking, that invigorates me, to be honest. You know, that it's like there are new challenges that I need to step up to. It makes it hard for me to fall into depressive states because automatically I know I just have to do good for him. So I think that's a very big one.